The sun hangs low over Westgate Park, a tired orange eye in a hazy sky. It paints long shadows across the manicured grass, stretching from the oak trees and the jungle gym. A gentle breeze rustles leaves. The scent of cut grass and distant traffic fills the air. It is a peaceful afternoon, deceptively so. Near the edge of the park, where the asphalt path meets a line of gleaming motorcycles, a different kind of stillness reigns. 5 men sit on a wooden bench. Their cuts are heavy leather, adorned with the coiled, fanged insignia of the iron serpents. Chrome glints on their bikes. Tattoos snake up their necks and across thick forearms. They are mountains of men, weathered and scarred. They do not speak. They simply watch. Mothers pull their children a little closer as they walk past. A jogger's pace quickens. The men are an anomaly in this suburban peace, a jagged edge on a smooth surface. Saint, the club president, sips from a bottle of water. His eyes, pale and sharp, miss nothing. The laughter of children, the distant chime of an ice cream truck, the nervous glances thrown their way. He is used to it. He and his brothers are just passing through, a quiet stop on a long ride, a moment of rest. Then the peace shatters. A sound cuts through the air, not a laugh but a sob, desperate and thin. A small shape darts from behind the public restroom building. A boy, no older than 9. His shirt is torn at the shoulder. His face is streaked with dirt and tears. He runs with a frantic, stumbling gait, his small sneakers kicking up dust. He is not running to the playground. He is not running towards the street. He is running directly at them, at the 5 men on the bench. The mothers gasp. A few people stop and stare, frozen by the raw panic in the child's flight. The boy doesn't slow down. He barrels towards the wall of leather and ink, his breath coming in ragged, painful hitches. He skids to a stop just feet from them, his chest heaving. His eyes are wide with a terror that seems too large for his small face. Saint sets his water bottle down slowly. He does not stand. He does not move to spook the kid. He just waits. The boy points a trembling finger back the way he came. "Please," he whispers, the word barely audible. "Please, you have to help me." The other serpents, Grizz, Anvil, Preacher, and Rook, turn their collective gaze from the park to the boy. Their expressions are unreadable stone. "Help you with what, son?" Saint's voice is low, a gravelly rumble that carries no threat. "Only patience." The boy swallows hard, trying to catch his breath. "They bully me," he chokes out. "Every day." He said today was the last day. A figure emerges from around the same building. Not a child. A man. He is tall, dressed in a crisp polo shirt and beige trousers. His hair is perfectly styled. He wears a smile that is both warm and utterly false. It does not reach his eyes. "Lau, there you are," the man calls out, his voice smooth and professional. "You gave me quite a scare, running off like that." The boy flinches violently at the sound of the man's voice. He shrinks back, trying to hide behind the bench, behind the legs of these strange, large men. The man stops a polite distance away, his hands held up in a placating gesture. He looks at the serpents, his smile widening to show perfect teeth. "I'm so sorry to bother you, gentlemen," he says, his tone dripping with condescension. "My name is Mr. Thompson. I'm Leo's school counselor." He gestures towards the boy. Leo has episodes. He gets confused. He runs off and tells stories. It's a symptom of his condition. We're working on it. Saint's eyes never leave the man. He sees the expensive watch, the polished shoes, the practiced ease of a man used to being believed. Then he looks at the boy, cowering. He sees the genuine terror, the torn shirt, the raw scrape on his knee. One is a story. The other is evidence. "He's lying," Leo whispers, his voice trembling. "He's not my counselor. Not anymore. He follows me." Mr. Thompson lets out a patient, patronizing chuckle. "You see? This is what I mean. His imagination is very active. It's part of the trauma he's processing. Now come on, Leo. Let's go home. Your mother is worried sick." He takes a step forward, his hand outstretched. Before his foot even lands, Saint is on his feet. He doesn't move fast. He doesn't have to. He simply rises, a human eclipse blocking the afternoon sun. The other four serpents stand with him, a silent, unmovable wall. Mr. Thompson halts. The smile on his face flickers for a fraction of a second. Annoyance flashes in his eyes before being replaced by practiced concern. "Gentlemen, I appreciate your concern, but this is a private family matter," he says, his voice losing some of its warmth. "I'm his appointed guardian for these outings. I have paperwork." The boy says no, Saint states. "It is not a question. It is a fact." Grizz, a man whose neck is wider than most people's shoulders, takes a slow step to the side, flanking Thompson. The counselor's eyes dart towards him, a flicker of unease finally breaking through his composure. He doesn't know what he's saying. Thompson insists, his voice tightening. He's a troubled child. He requires professional care, which I am providing. "You said you were his counselor," Saint says, his voice still quiet. "Now you're his guardian. Which is it?" The direct question hangs in the air. The small crowd of onlookers, drawn by the drama, leans in. They see the polished man and the terrified child, and they see the 5 hulking bikers standing between them. Thompson's jaw clenches. It's a complex situation. I'm acting as a counselor under a guardianship arrangement with the school district. It's procedural. He waves a dismissive hand, as if the details are too complicated for men like them to understand. "He hurts me," Leo says, his voice a little stronger now, finding courage in the shadow of the men protecting him. "He takes me to the storage place. Unit 17. He says no one can hear you scream there." The specificity of the detail cuts through the air like a razor. Unit 17. Saint's eyes lock onto Thompson's. He sees it. A microsecond of pure, undiluted panic in the counselor's eyes before the mask of calm slams back into place. That is the moment. The shift from suspicion to certainty. "That's a ridiculous fabrication," Thompson scoffs, but his voice is a half-octave higher. He watches too many movies. "Storage unit? Really?" He turns his attention back to the boy, his voice hardening into a sharp command. "Now, that is enough. We are leaving. Now." He tries to step around Saint. Saint doesn't move a muscle. He is granite. "The boy is staying with us." "You have no right," Thompson sputters, his professional veneer cracking completely. "You are interfering with the care of a minor. I will call the police." "Good," Saint says, his voice a low promise. "Call them." Rook, the youngest of the serpents, already has his phone out. He isn't calling the police. Not yet. He taps the screen, his tattooed fingers flying across the keyboard. He looks at the name Thompson gave them. A quick search. "Mr. Thompson," Saint says, his gaze unwavering. "What's the name of the school?" Thompson hesitates. "Northwood Elementary. I've been a counselor there for 10 years. A pillar of the community." He puffs out his chest, trying to regain some semblance of authority. "And the principal's name?" Preacher asks, his voice surprisingly soft. He was once a man of the cloth, before he found a different kind of brotherhood. He knows how to read a man's soul. "It's Principal Davies," Thompson says, a little too quickly. "We're very close." Rook looks up from his phone. He shakes his head almost imperceptibly. A single, small motion that seals the man's fate. "Funny," Rook says, his voice flat. Northwood Elementary's website lists the principal as a woman. A Mr. Henderson. Been there for 15 years. Silence. The air grows thick and heavy. The onlookers murmur amongst themselves. The young mother who had pulled her child away now watches with wide, horrified eyes. Thompson's face goes pale. The color drains from his cheeks, leaving behind a pasty, sickly white. The smile is gone. The warmth is gone. All that remains is the cold, reptilian thing that was hiding underneath. "It's a different Northwood," he says, his voice thin and reedy. "A private academy. You wouldn't know it." "And the storage place?" Saint asks, pressing the advantage. "Unit 17. What's in there, Mr. Thompson?" "Nothing. It's a fantasy," the counselor shrieks, his composure shattering into 1,000 pieces. He's a liar, a disturbed little liar. He lunges for the boy. It is a desperate, foolish move. Anvil's arm shoots out, not with a punch, but with an open palm. It connects with Thompson's chest. It is not a violent blow, but the sheer mass behind it is like being hit by a slow-moving car. Thompson stumbles backward, landing hard on the grass with a grunt. His perfectly pressed trousers are now stained with dirt. His dignity is gone. "You can't do this," he screams, scrambling to his feet. "I have rights. I'm a respected member of this community." "Respect is earned," Saint says, his voice like ice. "And you haven't earned a damn thing." He turns to the ice cream vendor, an older man who's been watching the entire exchange, his scooper frozen in midair. "Sir, could I borrow your phone?" The vendor nods, fumbling to hand it over. Saint takes the phone and dials 911. He speaks calmly, clearly. "There's a man at Westgate Park attempting to abduct a child. His name is Thompson. The child is safe with us. Please send a unit." He gives their location with practiced precision. Thompson's eyes are wild now. The trap is closing. He looks left, then right. He sees the wall of bikers. He sees the crowd of witnesses, their phones now out, recording. He makes a break for it. He sprints towards the parking lot, his polished shoes slipping on the grass. He doesn't get 10 feet. Grizz moves with a speed that is shocking for a man his size. He covers the ground in 3 long strides and tackles Thompson at the knees. It is not a tackle of aggression, but of simple, brutal efficiency. Thompson goes down with a pained cry, his face planting in the dirt. Grizz places a heavy hand on the back of his neck, holding him there, effortlessly. The sirens begin to wail in the distance, growing closer with each passing second. The fight is over. The lie is broken. 2 police cruisers squeal to a stop at the curb. Officers emerge, hands on their holstered weapons, their faces grim as they take in the scene. A well-dressed man pinned to the ground by a giant biker, surrounded by 4 other equally imposing men, with a small, crying child at the center of it all. "Everyone stay where you are," one officer yells. Saint raises his hand slowly, a gesture of peace. "It's all right, officer," he says calmly. The threat is neutralized. The boy is safe. A detective gets out of an unmarked car that pulls up behind the cruisers. He is older, with tired eyes that have seen too much. Detective Miller. He knows the Iron Serpents. He knows their reputation, and he knows their reality. He walks past the uniformed officers, his gaze fixed on Saint. "What happened here?" Saint gestures to the boy. "He asked for help. It is the only explanation needed." Miller listens as the witnesses all start talking at once. He listens to Saint's calm, factual account. He looks at Thompson, now handcuffed and sputtering denials and threats of lawsuits. Most importantly, he kneels down and talks to Leo. He speaks to the boy gently, his voice soft. And Leo, feeling safe for the first time in what feels like forever, tells him everything. He tells him about the counselor who was removed from the school for inappropriate conduct, but never charged. He tells him about the stalking. He tells him about the threats. He tells him about Storage Unit 17. Detective Miller's face hardens. He stands up and gives a sharp nod to one of his officers. "Get a warrant for all safe storage on 5th Street. Unit 17. Expedite it." He looks back at Saint. A long, silent moment of understanding passes between the 2 men. An understanding between 2 different kinds of law. "Thank you," Miller says simply. Saint just nods. Leo's mother arrives, a frantic whirlwind of fear and relief. She had been called by one of the other parents in the park. She sees her son, wrapped in a police blanket, and she collapses to her knees, pulling him into a desperate hug. Tears stream down her face as she holds him. "I'm so sorry, baby," she whispers over and over. "I believe him. I'm so sorry." "It's not your fault, ma'am," Saint says, his voice softer than anyone would believe possible. "Monsters are good at hiding." He kneels down, bringing himself to Leo's eye level. The boy looks up at him, his tear-filled eyes full of gratitude, so profound it needs no words. "You were brave today, Leo," Saint says. "Braver than most grown men I know. You did the right thing. You asked for help." He reaches up and unpins a small silver serpent from his own vest. It's a prospect pin, a symbol of belonging. He presses it into the boy's small hand. "You're one of us now," he says. "The Iron Serpents. That means you're never alone. You understand?" Leo clutches the pin, his small fingers wrapping around the cool metal. He nods, a real smile finally breaking through the tears. I understand. The serpents don't stay for the accolades. They don't talk to the news cameras that inevitably arrive. As the police lead Thompson away, his mask of respectability gone forever, the 5 men walk back to their bikes. They swing their legs over the engines, the leather creaking. The crowd parts for them, no longer with fear, but with a quiet, stunned respect. With a simultaneous roar, 5 engines burst to life, a thunder that rolls across the now-quiet park. And then they're gone, disappearing down the road, just 5 men on a long ride. The order of the world, at least in this small corner of it, restored. The news reports are brief. A former school counselor, Daniel Thompson, is arrested. An investigation leads to a storage unit. What they find inside is horrifying. Evidence of obsession, restraints, trophies taken from other children. He was a predator, hiding in the most trusted of positions. Leo was not his first target, but because of the boy's courage, he will be his last. Thompson is sentenced to life in prison, his name becoming a local synonym for evil. Life in the small town returns to a fragile normal. The park is full of laughing children again. But something has changed. People look at each other differently. They're a little more watchful, a little more aware that monsters don't always have fangs and claws. Sometimes they wear polo shirts and offer a reassuring smile. And sometimes, heroes wear leather and ride machines of chrome and steel. 2 years pass. The seasons turn. The memory of that day in the park fades for most, becoming just another local story. But not for everyone. Saint is in a dusty garage hundreds of miles away, working on his bike. The air smells of oil and old metal. Preacher is reading in a corner, his Bible resting on his knee. The mail gets dropped through a slot in the door. A small pile of bills and junk mail. And one envelope. It is addressed to the Iron Serpent's no return address. Saint wipes his hands on a rag and picks it up. He tears it open. Inside is a single school photograph. It's a picture of Leo. He is 11 now. He is smiling a wide, genuine, gap-toothed grin. His eyes are bright and clear, free from the shadow of fear that once haunted them. He looks happy. He looks healthy. He looks safe. Pinned to the collar of his shirt, gleaming in the photographer's flash, is a small silver serpent. On the back of the photo, written in a child's careful script, are 3 words. Thank you, brothers. Saint looks at the picture for a long time. A slow, rare smile touches his lips. He walks over to the clubhouse bulletin board, a corkboard covered in maps, rally flyers, and faded photos of fallen members. He clears a space right in the center. He takes a thumbtack and carefully pins the picture of the smiling boy to the board. It hangs there, a small, bright testament to their code, a reminder of why they ride. They don't do it for thanks. They don't do it for glory. They do it for the look in that boy's eyes, the look of a child who knows, without a doubt, that he is no longer alone. Saint turns back to his bike, picking up his wrench. There are more roads to ride, more miles to cover. And somewhere out there, another child might need help. The Iron Serpents will be ready. They always are.